Time to see some strong Maliss starters here. Probably a little less likely that we'll see the Dimension Shifter open up, although it's still good for Maliss combos, so we'll see how hard it's going to be for Isaac and his Mementos.
I don't think we opened up any Maliss monsters, but we may have opened up some Maliss trap cards.
Looks like Called by the Grave, Ash Blossom, maybe a Maliss trap card, but I can't quite make out that last monster, but I think you're right, nothing doing here.
I'm trying to leave this one.
Yeah, Alan unfortunately not able to really make much of a field at all. It's reminiscent of Joshua Schmidt's round 1 match,
Oh,
setting 2 passing in game 1.
I may have mentioned that these decks are very explosive when they go first. That's only when they draw engine.
Yes, unfortunately. And here we go. Speaking of,
It's Memento Goblin here, going to try to destroy itself to send 2 Memento cards from the deck to the graveyard.
I really like that a lot of modern Memento decks kind of splashed in a little bit of the Goblin Biker cards, kind of had a synergy with specifically Memento Goblin. Very exciting. I think this is a response to the effect of Goblin.
Taking just a moment to think about it, you probably want to negate it, but there's also other things you can do, so we're going to Ash Blossom here. It won't be destroyed, and so it won't get anything done.
yeah. Oh,
Ooh, we're not done yet.
Thinking Isaac might have a response.
Cross out Designator, maybe a chain of a Memento card. Bone Party could be really useful here.
Called by the Grave.
It's put me at 2 cards.
I mean, no matter what, he has revealed information to his opponent, whether he plays a card or not.
I will attempt to leave the phase. Yep.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Okay.
That's good for me.
Wow.
Yep.
There we
Both
go.
players with a little bit of a slower hand here.
Only just a little peck on the cheek from that Memento Goblin's horn there, so really not a lot of damage being dealt so far.
It's quite an uncomfortable little peck, but either way.
Set. Set.
And a couple back row set.
Attempt to leave main phase 2.
Looks like that's going to be the turn there for Isaac.
Yeah, definitely a very, very
End phase.
calm game of Yu-Gi-Oh.
Very
You know, be
modest
like,
serve.
I'm gonna pass. You're gonna pass.
Stand
Let's keep
by.
going.
Yeah. Sometimes this does happen, though. If you don't draw the right cards, if you don't draw the right starters for your strategies.
Speaking of starters, I think Alan just drew Signet Mining, which will get him any Cypress monster in his deck, which notably all the Malice cards are.
But on the flip side, Isaac is looking at that Book of Eclipse. It'll allow him to protect his Goblin, but also flip down monsters so they can't be used as link materials.
Yes. And also prevent them from activating their effect right off the bat. If you just use it on summon, they can't even attempt to
TB11 for cost.
climb up.
Ooh, sending that TB11 for cost might, limit Alan's ability to play around cards like Book of Eclipse, because if he set that face down and then summoned his Malice monster, you could have chained the Book of Eclipse to stop him.
Yeah.
Might be a sign that Alan already has one face down, but let's see what happens, because Dormouse is hitting the field, so is it time?
Yep,
to Eclipse?
Dormouse is famously an ignition effect, not a non-summon effect, so you can react to the summon and stymie Alan's play.
Isaac just taking a moment to think about it, but I think it comes. Oh, interesting.
Oh, okay.
That's good. Interesting.
Choosing to negate this will not give them the option to draw in the end phase with the Book of Eclipse.
There we see Lingaribo coming out of the extra deck here.
Anything here? No, you're fine. Well, actually, Magma Hut.
Ooh, now that's interesting.
This is a classic synergy between the Bystials and the Malice monsters, because almost every single Malice monster has an effect that you burn yourself for some damage to summon it back out into the field when it is banished. So we're going to take some damage here and bring Dormouse back out. And because Dormouse's effect was not activated previously, even though it was negated by Imperm, we can now activate it.
I feel like you have to turn the page on that Book of Eclipse, though, now.
There
it is, yeah.
Yeah, otherwise just the 2 monsters on field represents so many avenues that Alan can attempt to go down.
And unfortunately, that Lingaribo can only interact with trap cards, not spell cards.
Yeah. Will still stay on the field, and if you just go to end phase, they will flip back up, and we're going to draw a couple of cards.
All right. Draw 2. I went through my
Oh,
deck.
right to the end phase, too. Okay, so
Yeah.
yes, making him cut the deck there, smart idea to keep everything fair, but going to draw 2, so that'll give him more resources for later, so next turn's going to be difficult, so now is Isaac's turn to get something going with Mementos.
Interesting to see. Magnum did not search.
I will.
And maybe just running it because it's just a Bystial, you know?
Yeah, there
Could
might not
be
be
one
any
of
dragons in the deck.
Could be.
Besides other Bystials, maybe.
I do like some of the Malice deck builds that I've seen where they run multiple Bystials, so at least they have a search target. They are still good. But I would say that signals that most likely Alan is not doing so. But as we go over to Isaac's turn, he does have a lot of his Memento cards online.
Yeah, so he was able to use the Goblin to send Sleepy and Memento Fusion. Oh, no, excuse me, that's Gaddock there. So Gaddock is going to be able to grab himself back out of the grave.
Alan reading the Memento cards. I'm sure Isaac is very happy about that.
Shows that your opponent may not have a lot of matchup experience with the deck, but Maliss is very powerful. It might be able to pilot Alan all the way through this duel without knowing what they do. Oh, but called by the grave.
And called by On Gaddock as well, one of the most powerful extenders in the Memento strategy. Turning that off probably for the rest of the game is pretty huge.
Poor little ghost of the attic. Let's see what else we got.
There's Mag.
Anguish.
Yeah, Anguish.
And usually Gaddock's at 1 in most lists, so
Yeah,
like
a lot
you
of
said, probably for the game, that's just not there.
Yeah, a lot of the non starters, like anything besides Darkblade or Tatsunoto, are all less than 2 or less. Yeah.
Effective Tatsunoto to summon.
Great pronunciation there on Isaac's.
Hey, better
Knows
than
how
I
to play it, knows
I
how
just
to
call
say
it
it.
Tatsu, man. I'm like, it's more than enough. You know what card I'm talking about.
So for those unfamiliar at home, what this Seahorse does, of course, is allows itself to be special summoned when you control a Memento monster or no monsters at all, and it can destroy a Memento card on the field, send it to the graveyard, and add cards from the deck to the graveyard whose combined levels equal the level of the monster you destroyed with Tatsuno Toshigo's effect. So altogether, if you get rid of the 5, you get 5 stars worth of Mementos to the grave.
But I think the most we're going to be able to get off this on Isaac's board is only going to be 2 monsters because we've already lost our Gaddock and a Goblin, which are all of our really low-star monsters.
Yeah.
Let's see what he chooses here.
You could send something like a Mace, maybe the Akurion. Isn't that level 4, the new one?
It is 9, actually.
Level 9?
Yeah, Akihiro is a
Slightly off.
weird
It's,
monster.
it's
yeah.
definitely not going. It's 5 plus 4. That's where I was getting from. I was doing some math in my head for some reason.
Oh, no, excuse me, it's 5. It's 5. It's my bad. I added extra 4 stars in there. I must be seeing doubles.
Yeah. So then we saw Mace, Anguish, and Mace. Is that what I saw? Okay, cool. Still sending 3 so we can get maximum value, have as many names in the graveyard as possible.
It's very important, too, because if you leave an Anguish in the graveyard later, you can use the effect of your combined creation. But focusing on the present, looks like we're going to use Sleepy, and it's time to fuse.
Yep. Gonna go to that ever-important Twin Dragon, letting you search for more cards from your deck and just keep the Memento train going. I think we do have an Imperm set on Alan's side, though, and he's debating if he wants to stop this effect.
It is the one thing, Memento is very vulnerable to disruption because it just needs to get every play off. So a lot of times you see lots of copies of Nobleman, or should be crossed-out designator, wrong crossed-out.
Yeah. Wrong noble guy.
Sorry,
doing the wrong
Grandpa's
thing.
getting old here.
Same card art. Or at least same character.
Same character.
Yeah, I
Same
love it when they
story.
do that. They bring back the old card art for a new card.
Yeah, all
The
the
lore
cards tell a
you
little
do.
story, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Taking on the fusion.
What's
Very
Dark
rich.
Ruler up to these days?
Doing stuff in the Abyss, probably.
If he's on vacation, I mean, he's Dark Ruler no more, right? He can do whatever he wants.
True.
He's Dark
It's a
Ruler
blessing
retired.
in disguise.
So there we see a fusion. There we see the Akion coming from hand.
And it's 5 stars, you were right.
And there we see Creation King coming out.
To send 3 Memento cards from my deck or extra deck to the graveyard.
Yeah, but this will,
Triple.
and this will send all the high-level extra deck, main deck monsters like Tri-Horn Dragon,
Yeah.
or sorry, regular Horn Dragon, and then probably also Creation, a combined Creation.
Looks like he's going for an additional copy of the same to get its graveyard effect, as well as the combined creation. Little Mementotlin Tekutlika.
The field spell,
And-
right? No, that's the right.
That's
the main
Memento
monster. Yeah,
Memento Mictlan, yes.
Mhm.
But he sent the Dark Blade to the graveyard as well.
Just to get the name in there, I imagine.
So it does have a Rainbow Dragon-like strategy. Again, if you haven't seen Memento before, the idea is let's get 5 cards to the graveyard with different names that are going to be shuffled back into the deck to special summon a 5,000 attack, 5,000 defense beater with a bunch of cool effects and the ability to be supported by other cards.
Like Cranium Burst, which essentially is Appaloosa on a trap card.
And very strong and unique to Memento now that Appaloosa's out of the format.
Yep.
Yeah. Also just so satisfying to drop 5,000 damage on the field with one guy.
That is true. I wonder if we'll be able to activate that ability to attack directly, like you mentioned earlier, and maybe go for game this turn. But there we see the Impulse on the Creation King.
Ooh, and he has a trap in the graveyard, so goodbye Creation King number 1. But the other one will get banished for the effects.
I believe it's like when something is destroyed, you can banish it and then summon something back out. Yeah. From the deck, yeah. This should get the Horn Dragon here, which will probably allow him to extend even further.
So what do we grab it?
It could be Darkblade. Oh, there's the field spell.
Okay. We've already used a lot of Memento effects so far this turn.
Almost every single name, yeah.
Well, that is part of the name of this game, right? And look, here comes the name. Sleepy,
There we go.
Mace, Anguish, Goblin, and Tatsuno Toshigo.
Combine to create. I don't think in the lore they actually combine. I don't know, actually.
I mean, it's combined creation.
It is combined
Yeah.
create. It's in the
Creation.
name,
Yeah.
actually, yeah.
It's a bunch of skeletons coming together. That's all it is.
Yep. Enter battle phase. Sure. Attack from Garibo.
Now,
Bodybuilder's
because it's
dream.
by itself, it gets to attack everything on the field.
That's right.
We'll go next. Okay.
Whoa, we're just going to scoop it up there for Alan.
Oh, draw
Stand by.
phase.
Yep.
Yeah.
Main phase? Yep.
Yeah, there it is.
Okay, we made it.
Go ahead. White Rabbit. Activate the effect of White Rabbit to set trap from the deck. That is fine.
All right, here we're seeing some Malice cards finally
Okay.
in action for Alan. Going to be setting a trap card from the deck. Which one is he going to go for? We got TB11. That is the card that lets him summon from the deck.
Yes, so typically we're going to go into
That is fine.
banish from the field. We're going to go further into the Malice cards. Go for the Dormouse usually, and there it is.
Yeah, so now we're going to activate White Rabbit's effect to summon it back, and then hopefully we're going to maybe use Dormouse's effect first. No, we're just going to immediately link off here. I like this, actually. Probably dodging any interaction that Isaac could have that could destroy Dormouse, like a Ghost over in Snow Rabbit. There we see the honorary Malice card in Haggard Lizardos, banishing for cost the Dormouse so he can get full value out of all of these cards. No monsters to have the attack, but he will just get essentially an extra body to keep Link climbing, the things Cyber Stacks love to do.
You know, they got a cat, they got a rabbit, they got a mouse. Some people have lizards as pets.
Yeah.
You know, I think
Yeah.
it still
Yeah.
fits. Yeah.
All part of the animal family.
Certainly is what makes this game great, is that there'll be a card, you're like, oh, this is just meant for reptiles. No, it's not. It's the most powerful Cyber Slink monster to ever exist.
Yes. So here I believe we're resolving Dormouse to get Chessy Cat. Yep, there it is. Going to be banishing that and then using Chessy Cat's effect to summon it right back.
So we finally used all three of the main deck monsters from the Malice family, right? We've got White Rabbit, Dormouse, and finally Chessy Cat there.
And now I believe here we're going to be link summoning for Red Ransom, which will get us access to the Malice spell card. Yep, there it is. There's the first Malice Queen coming out.
And that's going to grab us the only Malice spell card, Field
That's true.
Spell.
That's true. This card's so crazy. My favorite effect that I've never seen resolved, but I really want to, is the effect to give all your monsters, Malice Link monsters, plus 3,000 attack.
Yep.
That'd be so cool.
Do have to banish all three of those trap cards, and we haven't seen one yet, but maybe this is that duel.
It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when.
Heart Scripter 8,000 attack win. We're going to see it at some point.
Red Rain.
Yeah, just qualifying what cards were summoned this turn, making sure they're using the right effects. Here we go. The Cyber's Mage of Old.
And it looks like there's still a sign at mining in hand, so even if this is interrupted at some point, theoretically we can continue to play if we're Alan.
Yeah, there's a lot of really powerful Cyber's extenders that we might have access to that can special themselves from the hand and let us just keep going up in our links.
Yeah.
There we see Whitebinder.
Yeah. Well, I think her effect will summon the banish up to 3 cards. That is fine.
All right, so here's the three cards we're going to banish. We're certainly going to get rid of the trap card.
That's
so,
one.
Hey, that's one
out of
closer,
three.
Steven. We're getting
Keep
there.
track of it at home, everyone. Just like your life points when you're playing Malice, keep track of it at home. Not going to banish Red Ransom. Interesting.
That is fine.
We might get the Reborn trap here. Yep, there it is, GWC.
Can I read that? This one is in German. It has the same
So basically, this card lets you summon from the graveyard as one effect, and then if you have a Malice Link monster, you can gain life points equal to the monster you summon.
That's going to be the GWC
If I
06.
special summon a monster while I control a link monster, I will then gain a life point equal to its original attack. Alright.
Alan doing a great job articulating the duel. Might as well slap a duel disc on that one.
Yeah, there we go. Just explaining for everybody at home as well. Now, when I watch a lot of Malice Enfields, they can get up to insane link numbers
That's
with
right.
the ability to just continually climb. I've seen 10 as the record that I've had to face off against before they eventually just go into a Link 5 Dragon at the end of the turn.
Oh, yeah. They'll have like a Link 4, a Link 3, a Link 3, a Link 4, and then they'll be like, you know what, let's make one big Link 5.
Let's just make Firewall Dragon, you know?
You know, this
Let's have
really
fun.
may be the time, Steven, I hate to say, because look, here is the Malice and Underground. Going to go ahead and banish additional cards here, but looks like instead we're actually going to go ahead and get rid of the Ransom there.
I think the argument that Alan might have here to kind of spacing out his effects here, not using Whitebinder to banish Red Ransom, is he wants to maybe suss out what kind of interactions Isaac has access to. By splitting out what your effects are, you can actually protect yourself and insulate yourself from various interactions.
Because one very popular card right now is Nibiru, the Primal Being, and that is very strong against the Malice deck in particular. There's not really a lot of ways for them to stop it from coming down. It's just a matter of trying to bait it out and be like, okay, use it now, while you continue to have plays.
And Steve, you were talking about Sign Up Mining earlier. Well, that just got us access to Code of Soul, which is a really powerful interaction point for our opponent's turn. And then we sent Dotscaper to the graveyard, the best Cyber's extender ever.
Only
Love
once
that
per
little
duel,
guy.
but it's an amazing card.
2 once per duel effects. Oh, so good.
All right, we'll turn play is kind of slowed down as Alan considers where to go next here, using almost all of the Malice effects, but just one left there with the Crypto.
Yeah, this is one of the rare moments when you're doing like a really big one-card combo. You're like, I can't believe I got this far.
Right?
It never happens.
This wasn't supposed to happen.
What should I do next?
I went 3-0 with never getting to this point.
I was like, I guess I can summon Firewall Dragon. That seems pretty cool.
Yeah, that is typically where the deck will end up. And that's what I was saying even before, that it's not always that the field itself looks that terrifying. It's that everything in the graveyard, everything in the hand, the back row, all of that you have to add up and realize that there's multiple points of interaction that you can't really see just with the monsters on field.
I mean, one of the coolest things I've ever seen is that you can summon Whitebinder during your opponent's turn, then you can banish all of your main deck Malice monsters from your graveyard, summon them back, and have them all point to Whitebinder, and they all have effects when a Link monster points to them.
Yeah.
Makes them protected from effects, battle, and all that fun stuff.
It looks like the Code of Soul has finally made its name known.
Was that special or normal?
Looks like it was special. I think we normaled earlier in the turn, although quite a few moves have happened since then. But it looks like it's good.
And, of course, Code of Soul being that ability to link on your opponent's turn, just get everything out, link it away. So many crazy things that we can do here.
And here it is, the original Firewall Dragon, Code of the Duelist. He's now changed a lot since then, but now he's still doing some pretty fun stuff. Going to be returning a Cyrus monster from our graveyard to our hand, going to add back that Dormouse, and now we're going to link all three monsters together, and this could be the Terahertz. Let's see. And there it is.
Link 5. What a card.
Who'd have thought? Now, it's just an update for the viewers at home. A slow play penalty was issued to Alan for some of the pausing there. You may see some additional minutes added to the clock. It's okay to get nervous, but again, you do have to keep a reasonable pace of play, even on the featured match stage.
That's right, and there we see the effect of Terahertz sending from extra deck to graveyard the Devise Worm, which is a spell trap negate while it's in the graveyard.
It is difficult, though, to play the Malice deck fast right now. Even the best players in the world at this deck. It's only a couple days old.
They've only physically had the cards, yeah.
Yeah.
Just a few days.
But here it is. We have our Terahertz. We have the interaction in the graveyard, like Steven was saying.
Ooh, you don't always get to see the Dark Blade effect. So again, he's discarding the Tatsuno Toshigo to get rid of the card there, but it's being chained actually to go ahead and special summon a Malice from the grave, and then I guess he gets to gain lake points, or should be life points. Feels like lake points,
and
though,
also
right?
we get a banish cards from the graveyard itself, so we're gonna get a lot of Malice cards out now.
Oh yeah, and honestly, big shout out to Isaac there, kind of forcing this interaction from Alan.
Yeah, and also getting to banish the opponent's graveyard as well. Yeah, this is the strength of the Malice deck.
Now, yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, certainly has strong Tier Laments vibes, right? Our turn, considering
It's
this one
time
interaction
for
is
our
causing
turn.
5 effects, yeah.
A lot of people have made that, comparison. It's like Tier Elements versus Sprite back in the Power of the Elements release, the Ryziel versus the Malice.
Yeah. Isn't it true that both the Sprites and the Ryziels can, like, remove from other Xyz monsters, kind of like the Sprites did? That's awesome.
Yeah. And Malice can, like you said, it's our turn. So, very similar vibes. Many people loved that time of Yu-Gi-Oh! And so far, this has been a lot of fun to watch as well.
And the more I'm looking at this play, the more I love even more that Isaac kind of forced Alan's hand here to do all these effects right now, because if he saved that Whitebinder effect to banish 3 cards from Isaac's graveyard, that would have been huge for slowing down all of his plays, but now he just lost 1.
Absolutely devastating if he lost all of those Memento names from the graveyard, but he's not this time.
That's a good point.
All right, so there we see the third Malice trap card going down. That is the non-target banish when you control a Link monster, Malice.
Getting ever closer there, right, to having each of those 3 trap cards banished.
That is true. Next turn, we'll definitely be able to do it.
I really want to see it.
Ooh,
That'd be
there we
so
see
satisfying.
Pac-Man coming out of the extra deck.
Ooh. Discard. Put in the spell and trap card.
Ooh, discarding extra sign that, yeah.
Doesn't destroy.
Oh, that is so rough, by the way.
Very strong form of removal.
Denying more cards in the graveyard, yeah.
Yeah.
Not having access to it hurts. Oh, but there's the thrust. Let's see what we got.
The thrust. Isaac knew he was going second, guys. He's like, I got my good guards here. Let me get Triple Tactics talent. Let me take that Terahertz, please, and I'll just go for game with it. But obviously, we still have access to our Spell Trap Negate in the graveyard, so that probably won't happen. But maybe Alan forgets?
Yeah, we'll see.
This is going to be kind of a rough one again because having already used up the normal summon on the Dark Blade and burning off one of the Tatsuno Toshigos, you really have to have just the perfect combination of cards to be able to get back into the game. And looks like we're just going to go for Prosperity to find whatever that is.
I was going to say, if you don't have it already, you need to find a way to get there. Pot of Prosperity, one of the premier ways to do so.
I mean, Steven Darling, you have more experience using Memento. How would you say it's good at breaking boards? Because it seems like he's struggling a little bit.
It is a difficult duel because, again, what it does best is clear things out with battle after whittling down resources or prepare a sort of Appaloosa-like field using Memento Cranium Burst, right? Because, again, you're reducing the attack by 1,000. It's got even better, though, with all the new attack and support cards that have been added because, again, Akihira lets you attack directly underneath all of this.
Yeah.
So you don't necessarily have to break the board. You just kind of have to play through it until you get to the point where you can attack directly because it's all those level 9 and lower monsters. But the issue is you still have to start the combo, and until you get a Memento on the field, that Dark Blade doesn't count in the spell and trap zone.
Yeah. And we saw that they didn't have any hand interaction during Allen's turn, and it didn't look like they had many of the traditional side-decked field breakers.
Well, they got the Grand Breakout, but that may be too little too late here.
Yeah, because we have that spell time to get in the graveyard all souped up. We could get the Engraver and go into our Fiendsmith engine part of the deck, which is just like a fun little synergy because some of the Memento cards are Fiends.
Oh, we're actually going to try to get out of this jail. All right.
What card did we add?
Goblin Biker Grand Breakout.
We had a second Tatsu, which is
that
great.
helps.
Okay.
That is the main card you got to stop.
Also just important because one of them was banished, so if we're trying to get names in the graveyard, it's back in there.
Yeah, two of our names that we started with, Darkblade and Tatsu, are not going to be in the graveyard at all this turn.
Yeah.
Allen considering his options. Might be able to break through, and if this card gets to use its effect, I think we are finally doing it.
There are still two face-down spell or traps on Allen's side. Those could be very impactful as well. Common cards for this deck to play, other than the Malice traps themselves. Things like Called by the Grave, things like Infinite Impermanence.
Yeah, this could be where the MTP trap card, which he has set right now, could be really good because it allows him to banish the Tatsu before the effect can activate. But I forget, is Tatsu a quick effect? So you can respond?
It is not a quick effect.
Okay.
You have to manually do it. And that is one of the things that Memento has a lot of problems with, is it is mostly ignition effects. But the Ash Blossom
That's
choice.
right.
Spring.
MTP 07 also lets you add a card from your deck to your hand, which means you can Ash and the entirety of the effect gets stopped, which the non-target banish is a part of that. Very huge.
Now, what is a faster point of interaction, the Goblin Biker Grand Breakout is a quick play spell card, so if for any reason you can't use Memento Tatsuno Toshigo, you can go ahead and chain the Goblin Biker Grand Breakout to just get it out of there, get the Memento Goblin, and then keep moving from there.
And what's even scarier about this is because the MTP was set this turn, Allen had to banish his Link Monster for cost, and he doesn't even get as much value out of it as he could have last time.
Yeah.
This is a really good duel. It shows that these decks are very evenly matched, as long as none of them draw some very powerful breakout card, like we said, Artifact Lancia or the Dimension Shifter. This is just good Yu-Gi-Oh!
The one thing about the Malice deck that a lot of people don't really pay as much attention to is how much life points you actually burn yourself. If you're going first and then you pass your opponent and you're also summoning all these monsters, you actually put yourself down into a kind of dangerous zone. Memento can go for big damage here, and we're in that range.
Let's go game.
And here we see Hearts of Cryptor.
Okay, it was a little too much there, so it looks like we are who's winning this match.
I will normal summon.
We're in the main phase. That's a good start for Darkblade.
Darkblade.
No
response. Well, expecting no Dimensional Shifter then.
Or maybe we're going to Ash Blossom. I can see it in the hand there.
Do you interact with Darkblade, or do you interact with the card that Darkblade searches?
I think you stop it so that you prevent both names from hitting. Oh, we're going to Bone Party. Now, that isn't going to allow the Darkblade effect to still resolve, but it is going to go ahead and tribute that Mementotlin Goblin from the hand and bring out Mementotlin Anguish, so you basically get the Strato-style search anyway.
Yep. It actually looks like he didn't even chain Bone Party to Ash Blossom. He just activated it on a new chain.
I can certainly still do that with a quick play spell, and he's getting everything here uninterrupted. So unless Allen is trying to just seem cold and steely as he holds on to Nibiru the Primal Being, we may see actually some Nibiru stuff.
I was going to say, typically when somebody puts their hand down, it can be one of two things. Either they have nothing, or they're really mind gaming their opponent.
Oh yeah, it's the poker face of all poker faces. Like, yeah, no, that's good.
Yeah.
And then you just go rock.
So it looks like we sent a few additional names to the graveyard there. I think I can see Gaddock peeking out there and Schleepy as well.
Yep, and then we're going to use Anguish, target the mace that was just put in the graveyard to, I believe, summon it back out. There we see that. Yeah, like on my money, I'm gonna Ash Tatsu every single time because I'm like that card's just so strong.
So strong.
Yep, gonna go ahead and send Mace. Gonna be getting another name.
Which card are we going to take this time?
This could be the trap card, actually. No, I don't think so. Can it search for the trap card?
It can,
Yeah.
but let's see what he ends up going for. Oh, okay.
There it is.
So we haven't seen this one yet. It gets to destroy a card, and if you control the combined creation, you get to destroy another card after that, non-targeting. And what's also cool, you can banish it from the graveyard to reduce an attacking monster's attack by 1,000 attack in a battle involving Memento monsters.
Very powerful. When you're going first, you have access to these powerful trap cards that Memento has. It just seems super useful. It now becomes a mini toolbox as well as a gigantic engine.
Well, speaking of toolbox, I think we have assembled all the tools here. We're going to go ahead and fuse here.
Using
Put those cards on the bottom of the deck. Yep.
Gonna go for Creation King, I assume, because we sent 3 monsters.
There we go.
Yep.
You know those cards I just put back in my deck? Let's send 3 more in there.
Let's get the names that we need.
Mm-hmm.
And I gotta say, I love Isaac's use of sending the fusion monster to the graveyard, not getting greedy, not just trying to send additional monsters from the main deck down there. So we're getting Gaddock, Akihiron, and then the Creation King.
Summon itself.
Now Gaddock gonna come back out.
A lot of people think that's Karibo. It's actually Ghost in the Attic.
Yeah, all the Memento cards are sort of retrains from like older Effector normal monsters from the
Trihorn
original
Dragon.
sets.
What's Ghost in the Attic if not just like Karibo's big brother or something?
Yeah,
really?
yeah.
Think about it
A
that
little
way.
green-eyed furball, I could make that mistake too.
Yeah. Distant cousins.
Just everything coming up Isaac's way. Uninterrupted play here, getting the Memento Mictlan. Does a lot of different things. Of course, you have safe attacks, sort of ancient gear golem protection whenever your Mementos go in. You also get to set your cards from your graveyard with Memento names, which are so cool. Not the monsters, of course, just the spell and traps, but very useful.
And here we see a chain of Sleepy to Memento Fusion's effect. Going to be sending the Dark Blade to the graveyard. I think we're going to resolve for a fusion summon of Twin Dragon maybe afterwards. Get us access to our trap card maybe?
And then
Our other trap card, Cranium Burst.
you change.
Cranium Burst would be very helpful right now if we get to combination, or excuse me, the combined creation.
Darkblade, Akihiron 3. Yeah.
Ooh, and I
Akihiron
just saw
gonna
it looks like
add-
there was another Ash Blossom in Alan's hand, but we've already used one, so unfortunate drawing 2.
Yep, so here we see Aki and Goblin coming out. And now we're going to fusion summon using the using the Gaddock and the Creation King to get Twin Dragon?
Oh, we haven't seen it yet. This would be a great time for it.
Yep, there it is.
There's Twin Dragon.
Based off of Twin-Headed Thunder Dragon, I believe.
It's facing the opposite way. I love that like the art almost overlays perfectly in a mirror image.
Gorgeous.
Just great stuff. Great Yu-Gi-Oh lore amidst all these cards. Right, we were just talking about how much lore there is in this game.
And Bone Dragon? Yeah.
This is the nostalgia player's dream deck. You see all these old school cards reimagined.
And they're edgy.
Yeah.
They're skeletons.
Little bony.
I wonder if Isaac opened Cranium Burst. I think it's in his hand.
If he did, just setting that and not giving any information to your opponent, especially when we've noticed that Alan is reading each of these cards, and that's okay, you're unfamiliar with it. You should read the cards.
Yeah, always.
But that means he's got a pretty good bet in his mind that Alan doesn't know what Cranium Burst does. So you'll flip it up and surprise your opponent with it.
So here we see Akihiron effect switch in the graveyard for a...
Target Mace Sensei.
Going to go ahead and add Mace back to the hand here.
Now, Mace has an in-hand effect that is so crazy. It is a main phase quick play change of heart if you control the combined creation.
Which is just nuts.
That
You
is
can do it
insane.
during your opponent's turn, right?
Yeah,
At
which
any
is
main
just
phase.
insane.
Yeah.
Anything here?
Oh, what?
Yes, we did in fact have 2 monsters in play, guys, which means now we access our entire Fiendsmith part of our deck, which is there.
We
It's
saw
a
the
very
Fiends
light
for the
engine,
Graver,
though.
yeah.
Yeah, this is a very modest Fiendsmith engine. Just going to probably set up a nice little Desiree. Nothing too crazy.
Could be. Maybe a Hiking Caesar, depending on which one they want to go for.
Real quick.
There's Necroquip coming down.
Engraver effect. Shuffle back. Move.
Oh, we can use Creation King's effect in the hand and you're going to draw off of Necroquip.
Oh, here comes a Bystial to block this play.
Very nice. Good patience on Alan there, saving the Druid Swarm.
Now, most Memento are Earth, but I believe there are some Dark, so this may come back to haunt him later if he's looking for that additional name or if it's just already in there.
Creation King's a dark, right?
Yeah.
And Alan,
And so's the
Isaac
Trihorn.
never put it in the graveyard. Look at that. Heads up on him.
Yeah. And notably that we do see now that there are multiple Bystials. in Alan's deck. We were wondering if it was only the Magnamut or if there were more.
Yeah, he must just not have activated Magnamut's effect when he first summoned it, which, you know, you have to activate it.
Oh, going for the SP Little Knight there. Going to go ahead and banish the Druid's Worm, just prevent any sending from happening. Very smart there.
Because that, I believe, can't interact with Combined Creation because Cranium Burst only negates on the field.
That is correct. But speaking of Combined Creation, here comes all of our names.
It's time for the boy.
Shuffle back 5.
The biggest boy, I have to say. 5,000 attack.
That is a one heck of a main monster.
Oh, it's in defense mode. He definitely has the Cranium Burst in his hand.
Oh, yeah. That's the... I don't know if you're playing Lightning Storm, but just in case.
Just in case. Smart. Not leaving anything to chance on this final final duel of this final match. But see where we go next on Alan's side.
It's going to go crazy, though.
Effect, target.
Oh, yeah.
Party pathetic.
Wow. Okay, let me just look at these interactions here. We have Bone Party, Fractured Dance, Combined Creation, SP Little Knight. We know we have Mason Hand, and we're assuming Cranium Burst on board. That's at least 10 points of interaction, if I did my math right.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Because Cranium Burst can interact for every 1,000 attack points Combined Creation has.
Which is crazy, because earlier in the tournament we were admiring that Desiree that had 6 total negates in one effect.
Yep.
Different than that, the Cranium Burst literally has 5 separate monster effect negations.
Right. I
One
can do it more
after
than
the
once.
other.
Maliss does have a lot of monster effects to activate, but I don't know if Alan will have the gas to actually make that journey with us all here today.
Fight through this, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be tough.
Just shuffle it.
I think I saw a Dormouse, an Ash Blossom. I think I see a Malice Trap card, or is that an Imperm? It could be an Imperm. Imperm on the Cranium Burst could be cool.
It's not looking like it.
I mean, surely you just Fracture Dance this, right?
I would assume, because again, it is an ignition effect, so now would be a great time to prevent anything from happening, but it looks like actually we're going to take control of it.
This is even funnier. Yeah, May send to the graveyard because we have Combined Creation. It is now my monster.
Okay, we talked about it early. I guess he just wasn't aware that was going to come up, but now Gold Sarcophagus to banish.
One of a very old spell card, but incredibly powerful in the Malice deck. Typically, you banish and in 2 turns you get it back. Well, guess what? If you banish it and it's a Malice monster, you can just bring it out right away. Great way to get the combo started.
I wonder which one you send here. Probably White Rabbit so you can get access to your Malice Trap cards, but I mean, as assuming your effects resolve.
Yeah.
They will be resolving the banishment, which means it's safe from Cranium Burst for now.
For now.
But whatever it is, that's going to be the one use of its banish and then pay life points to special summon it. So you're not going to get a lot of additional use after it hits the field.
Alan has to make a decision here, but it looks like he actually might be going for Chessy Cat instead of White Rabbits.
Yeah, maybe just wants to draw more cards because maybe he needs more of his non-engine to kind of actually break this board. Hard to say.
Really considering his options here back and forth, but it looks like Chessy Cat is going to be the winner of the Gold Sarcophagus contest.
I think our banish effect. Summon yourself, I'm paying 300. Chainlink 2 Combined Creation, because you activate an effect, I get to activate it. Yeah, 3 buys. Yeah.
I would assume the Anguish is available in the graveyard.
I think it is. Yep.
Yes, and so you get that additional search.
And then New Chain, Anguish effect.
Yep, that's mandatory, so it has to be Chainlink 1.
Interesting to see if he grabs the Sleepy this time. Another option, of course, is the Memento Goblin, which can prevent targeting, but not really a lot to worry about in Malice because they have non-targeting banishes, so great looking out there.
Plus we have Own Party and Fusion to dodge.
Yeah. This is a mountain of a task here for Alan to try and bounce back. The Malice deck is powerful, but if your opponent's able to make this type of field against you, there's only so much you can do when we get hit by infinite impermanence.
So it wasn't Cranium Burst, it was Imperm, so it's not 5 negates, it's 1.
But that's all you need to stop that Chessy Cat dead in its tracks, and now that it can't get any additional banishes, remember that was the choice over the White Rabbit, so now he's kind of locked in.
I think the only thing he has left in his hand is an Imperm, I think.
You can attack anything.
Yeah, he's just making sure. He's like, am I allowed to attack anything that isn't Combined Creation? Because Combined Creation, pretty big.
But without Cranium Burst on the field, he's not being redirected to attack the highest attack memento on the field, so he's safe for now. We see, looks like Fusion, Bone Party.
Cheshire Cat.
Let me attack my own monster.
That is a fun way to do it, but we're going to go Bone Party first.
Going to be sending Anguish for cost, it looks like.
Tripping. This is interesting. I'm curious to see which Memento he brings out.
Let's see. What did we put back? Did we put back Horn Dragon? I don't think we did. Darkblade could be cool. No. Another Tatsu, maybe? Yep. Okay, there's Horn Dragon.
Yeah, it does
cool.
work.
We did put it back.
It's hard to tell. They pick all 5, but
Right.
was recycled.
Chain link to
Yeah, I think he put it back to summon the combined creation.
Yeah.
active Cubone.
Yeah, and take a look at the Memento Miklon. 3 different effects. Again, the Ancient Gear Golem effect, the ability to set your own cards, but also a special summon because you got something destroyed.
Then Gaddock effect.
And still just so many forms of interaction here
Dark Blade out to hand.
on Isaac's side.
And we still have Memento Fusion, too.
We do.
And Fracture Dance.
SB Little Knight.
But against Malice, do you really want to banish their
Yeah,
cards for
that's
them?
a good point. That's actually a good point.
I
Yeah,
have to say
maybe
it.
not so much of that.
Now,
That
banishing your
stuff.
cards, though.
Yeah.
Banishing your cards, though. Be like, I'm going to dodge that Imperm or something. That's pretty cool.
Oh, interesting. Destroying the Dormouse that he stole with the Memento Mace before it goes back on the field of his opponent. Very smart.
Oh my god. Oh my gosh, is this evenly matched? Oh my gosh. What?
Could you imagine?
Okay, nope.
Could you imagine?
He
You
said
just
battle
cleared your
phase.
opponent's field?
I was like, what the heck?
Was
Maybe
going
just kind of
second.
bluffing it out there.
Yeah.
Push your top. Yep. Push your top. Yep. End of main. Yep. Battle phase. Yep.
Horn Dragon
Zach?
in.
And it's looking like
And
that's
combined
it.
creation in.
Wow.
That